what are the similarities between this and this? You probably think there is no similarities at all. Or some of them just think that they both have awards and achievements, just different awards and achievements. Well, believe it or not, they both run in the same formula. And this formula is called the peak circle. Well, actually, I call it peak circle because no one has thought of a name as it. The peak circle, it works exactly like yin and yang. When there is light, there is also darkness. And when there is darkness, there is also light. The first example is when there is something consistent, there's also something new. I like to think of Kanye West because his songs are consistently good in every album. How do you have a consistent discography where it's pretty good as shit? And the worst one is being Ye. Actually, no, that's not even the worst one. The reason why people think it's the worst one is because they kind of got the theme wrong. So the major thing about consistency is his basic great discography. And for something new, he basically changed things up a bit. So he used to go like 90s rap with Christianity to some rock. And then back to Christianity. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this other half, something new and something consistent, I like to get Phineas and Ferb. Because something new is either their inventions or probably the plot change. Because I've seen some of them in a lot of Phineas and Ferb. Like for example, Phineas and Ferb 2D and Phineas and Ferb Marvel. Shit, maybe Phineas and Ferb Summer is Over type shit. And maybe Phineas and Ferb when they grown up and shit. But something consistent, which doesn't even matter, it's basically the plot and the story. Because the plot and story are basically the same in each episode. I mean, I know it sounds complicated, but you gotta watch Phineas and Ferb on Disney Plus if you think that shit's complicated. The peak circle can also be used in everyday life. Let's just say that in work, you met a new recruit. He's not that major at all. He's probably not even gonna be that major at all after all because he's new. But something major is that you had to constantly go through traffic. Constantly work 24/7. Actually, no, not 24/7. Constantly work at a 9 to 5. Nothing major is happening at all, except the weather, maybe even sports. That is very consistent because there's nothing happening at work as always. And there's probably a new recruit, which is not even that major at all. You're just getting back to work. Nothing's happening. Everything's going according to God's plan. And lastly, probably something new and something consistent. Now, something consistent that is not that major is like probably going into the same route. Then something new is probably an accident. Accident. A life-changing accident. Or actually, scratch the life-changing accident. The accident that is starting traffic. Like, can we get a move on? Get a fucking move on! Please. That's basically something new and something consistent. So let's give it a recap. The peak circle can not only work in real life, but also in other shows and movies. If they have series and shit. Here's what I want you guys to try. I want you to watch some shows and try to make a peak circle out of it. Try to find the yin and the yang.